I've seen family members beyond suffer at the hands of disease. I've lost family members at the hands of disease. My mum, as an example, which I find incredibly difficult to talk about, and the reason why I'm doing this documentary comes down to my mum. I've got no brothers, I've got no sisters, I've got no father, I didn't know him. You know, my mum was my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my world, and she's now no longer with us. She actually had stage 4 lung cancer, and they said she had COPD, and they gave her an asthma pump. Even if the doctor thought she had COPD, I thought there has to be another way. Instead of the asthma pump, let's get to the cause of the problem instead of treating the symptom. My mother saw this place before it was built. We stood here, we looked over, and she said, you have to build this. This may be too late for me, but you have to build it so that people have somewhere to go that actually is a place where people can heal. And I vowed that, look, if there's anything I can do to evoke change, to try and help somebody at all, say, look, you know, maybe there is another way. And that's what we're going to find out.
We're seeing an increase in cancer and diabetes.
It doesn't matter now that you're 10 years old or 80 years old. It's all ages are plagued with very serious illnesses.
It's getting more and more dangerous and more difficult to keep your defenses up.
We're chronically over-toxified. We've got toxins, the medications we're taking, the toxins in all the food supply and the water supply.
The lifelong medications that cause lifelong side effects or adverse events in millions and millions of people.
There's no question in my mind that we're not winning the war on chronic disease.
We're at a crisis point, and if something doesn't change, all of these diseases are going to continue to escalate.
Hello, Jason. I'm going already. Crohn's disease, that's what I have, Crohn's disease. Oh, I'm so stupid. I just can't believe I'm crying so much. The majority of my life I've spent kind of ill, sick. You know, I think it's a very, very difficult thing to live with. Just affected every single aspect of my life.
My number one problem is I have ulcerative colitis. I don't take medication for it because all the medications that they prescribed me had steroids, and basically I started getting cataracts in both my eyes.
I tell you what this shows me, how many people the medical intervention is not working. It's just clearly not working.
All of this stuff is clearly not natural and shouldn't be happening to a 26-year-old.
Now, on a daily basis, if you have a look just here, these are some of the medications I take. I'm now carrying 135 kilos, and I cannot carry this weight.
There are so many massive issues to deal with.
I have a very long list of ailments. I can say, honestly, I have not felt well for 25 years. I don't see that changing. I need to try, but at my age, who knows how that's going to go.
I don't know if super juicing is going to work for you. I don't know, but you can't not try.
I'm very overweight, and I've tried everything that I can to lose weight.
You represent so many people out there as well.
I need to do this for my health, for my children. The last thing I'm going to try will be weight loss surgery. Please. pick me. I've tried everything.
To be able to be in a position where there's a chance that this experiment could possibly help even one of them, then it's been worthwhile. In fact, you cannot watch any of these videos and not care deeply. Well, they're here. The super juicers have arrived in the middle of nowhere in Portugal, here at Juicy Oasis, where they're going to embark on a journey of having nothing but freshly extracted juice for 28 days as part of my big juice experiment.
My name is John Zor. I'm 29 years old. I got ulcerative colitis, which is an autoimmune disease. I'm a 29-year-old who should be having the time of my life, should be able to do all sorts of things. And I feel, honestly, I feel like I'm 60 years old. I can't do normal things, or I don't want to do them because I feel like if I go out, I'm going to be sick. And it's just not fun.
My name's Estelle. I'm 26. When I was 17, I developed asthma. I get really shaky after I take my inhaler. I don't see that as being a definite solution or a cure of any sort. It's just, it's gonna help you with the shortness of breath, but in all, it's not gonna help you with the asthma. It's just gonna help you get through the day, not through the whole month or life.
Hi, I'm Betsy Polly. I will be 52 next week. I have a long list of problems. Started with lupus about 23 years ago. I don't know what it is to feel good. Like if you were to ask me today, I would tell you that I feel good. But my good is not your good. Because you can look healthy. I mean, you walk around, you get the job done. I mean, being a mother, you always get the job done.
I'm Roger Gale, I'm 67 years old. I've got sleep apnea, so I have to wear a breathing machine at night. I have hyperglycemia, and worst of all, I have lupus. I know that there are many, many people in far more unfortunate circumstances than I am, but I've been relatively healthy and active for all of my life without any illness, so it's come as a horrible shock to me. And the worst aspect is that I cannot do all of the things that I plan to do.
My name is Sarah Crosby. I'm 22. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was 10. It can affect any part of the digestive system, anywhere from the mouth to the back passage. Unfortunately, I have it kind of everywhere. I'm a big believer in the fact that fruits and vegetables can help you, like 100%. So if that didn't happen and my Crohn's got worse, it would really hit home, I suppose, that, you know, that maybe I will be on medication for the rest of my life.
My name is Lewis. I'm 22 years old. I've got problems with my weight and being able to walk and things like that. I use food as a massive blanket. I use it when I'm happy. I use it when I'm sad. I use it as rewards. I use it as everything. It's so annoying because I don't want to be addicted to food.
I'm Erica, I'm 33 and my weight is my first problem on my piece. So running around after the children, I can't really do that because of my size. We should be able to go out at the weekends at the park. I can't. I've got two beautiful kids that need their mum, and I just feel like I'm letting them down.
My name is Andrew Morris. I'm 51. I suffer with a condition called pulmonary sarcoidosis. I've also got asthma to go along with it, paradoxical atrial fibrillation, sleep apnea, and type 2 diabetes. It's weird for people to understand, but I can go to sleep And I'll dream of waking up and just not taking tablets.
I originally planned to have 6 of them, but after seeing all their videos come in, there was no way that I could only pick 6. So there's 8 of them here. They have 22 different diseases between them, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to all of those diseases and to them mentally and physically when they're just living on juice for 28 days.
So if the medical profession seems unable to effectively treat these guys, why do I think I can help? Well, I have a theory, and it all starts with a fish. Think of a fish living in natural, clean, nutrient-rich water. The chances are it will live a disease-free life. But what would happen to the fish if you pollute the water? If you poured, say, cola into the bowl, or some salty potato chips, or greasy fatty foods like burgers and pizza? What do you think is going to happen? Well, all living creatures have a natural filtration system that can handle a certain amount of just about anything. But if you keep adding more and more junk into the water, the body's going to start to struggle. The poor fish is going to start showing symptoms of disease. It might get a skin condition. It might get asthma. It might become fat or obese. Perhaps it gets a headache or a cough. It might get arthritis and can't move its fin so well. Whatever symptoms it has, these are simply warning lights telling the body there's something wrong. So what's the best way to treat the fish? Medical intervention might suggest that you give it medicine to treat the headache, or different medicine to stop it coughing, or further medicine to help the fish move its fin, and perhaps even more medicine to treat some of the side effects that the first medicine has created. That might treat the symptoms temporarily, but even the medicines themselves add pollution to the bowl. It seems painfully obvious to any rational thinking person what the solution is. Would you want to give the fish more medicine? Of course you wouldn't. The answer is so simple. If you want to treat the cause of the problem, you need to clean the water. So that's effectively what our super juicers are here to do, to clean the terrain where their cells bathe, to clean the water, in other words. It's that simple.
All chronic degenerative diseases are caused by 2 and only 2 major problems: toxicity and deficiency.
We are living in an overtoxic world, and we're living at a time where we're also consuming foods that are devoid of nutrients. And as that toxicity and deficiency becomes manifest in our body, it results in disease.
We have to detoxify and flood the body with nutrients.
So it makes sense to me that we should address the toxicity and we should replenish the nutrients in our bodies if we're looking to heal ourselves.
Once you understand the cause, you got the answer for the cure.
The thing that got me into juicing was the fact that it just made so much sense. It was for me the perfect way to get live nutrition going into my body, because even to this day I still don't like certain vegetables. I hate broccoli with a passion, I'll be honest. I mean, you got to remember I was a junk food addict. I had a massive sweet tooth. So to go from that to broccoli, as you can imagine, my taste buds didn't really want to know. And even to this day, I read a book that said that all fruits and vegetables was full of over 85% pure organic liquid fuel. And it's only this fuel essentially that fed the body, and it's rapid nutrition into the cells. And the idea of rapid nutrition going into my cells really appealed to me. And I thought, you know what, if I can't eat them, can I drink them? And I'll be honest, the thought of drinking broccoli juice was even worse for my head than the thought of eating it. But you know what? When you extract the juice and you mix it with a little bit of apple, say a little bit of pineapple, a little bit of pear, add some ginger, and you try different combinations, I got so excited. In fact, I do remember even to this day, the first time I even called my mum. I remember calling my mum, this old juice up. I said, Mum, you're never going to guess what, I'm drinking vegetables.
This has got to be good for you. It's fresh fruits and vegetables converted into juice right there on the spot. How can you do better than that? Do you see how simple this is? These plants contain all the elements of life and growth in them.
I tell you now, if there is a system that can get me to have vegetables going into my body, then I knew this would work for anybody.
I am absolutely ready for the journey. I mean, it's a journey to health. It's a journey to learning more about what nutrition can do for my body.
This opportunity, this whole thing, it's really, like I said, the mark of a new start, of a new life for me.
I'm kind of scared of a whole month. It sounds like a lot, and people have done it. I just feel like I'm not someone who usually has that type of drive.
If you took the medication out of the equation, I could live a normal life. And that's what I'd like. I think that's going to give it to me. So, here we go. Ooh, that's all right then. Thanks.
It's not as bad as I thought.
I like it.
The orange is disgusting. Could I have some more wheatgrass, please?
Yeah.
I've been on the juice for nearly 2 days and surprisingly I actually feel really good.
Actually, I feel pretty good.
Actually, I feel pretty terrific.
Right, there we go. On the 30th of July 1962 I was born. And what I feel now, I'm going to be reborn. And it's my rebirth. That's it. Thank you. Alright, let's turn that off.
Craving food today. Craving a lot of food. I want food. Just one quick high. I sound like a heroin addict.
Hang on, if the super juicers are being fed everything they need from the juice itself, then why does Lewis feel like a heroin addict missing his fix?
They're not missing food at all. I mean, they're having more genuine nutrition than they've probably had in many years. What they're actually missing is, they're almost missing a drug in a way. It's like a drug addict coming off of a drug. That's the only way I can describe it.
Imagine the big food industry is like a squirrel who's selling nuts to other squirrels. It wants to sell more nuts because, of course, it wants to make more money. Now, normally in the wild, animals won't eat unless they're genuinely hungry. So it can only sell nuts when its customers are hungry, right? Wrong. All it needs to do is cook the nuts and add these 3 highly addictive, magical substances: fat, salt, and sugar. Now something truly incredible happens. These new roasted flavored nuts have become highly addictive. They create what amounts to a false hunger. Your body is no longer satisfied when you eat them. Your natural hunger cutoff point is gone. Now, the squirrel's customers will keep buying and eating until they end up with an obese squirrel. And the big food industry is doing exactly the same to us. They're manipulating our food so that we eat more and more and more. Big food is responsible for, I think, the biggest addiction faced in Western society today. In fact, there's no question of it.
If you go into any restaurant or you go into any mainstream supermarket, we're getting poor nutrition and we're getting toxicity.
It's corn and soy and wheat and sugar and salt and chemicals. That's primarily what people are eating.
Add on to that all the preservatives and the additives that are used in food processing, from MSGs to artificial sweeteners like aspartame, for instance. And also, the preservatives are some of the worst that you can get in your body. So we're eating these on a daily basis.
So we're eating a diet that is very sparse on vegetables and very replete with these monoculture foods that have been spun out of factories and dumped into boxes or packages, and they do not contain life. Where is our life?
You don't actually know what you're eating anymore. When you eat one item, it really is composed of 25 different things. Say you're having some sort of fast food hamburger that in the States are made up of 50% corn, and generally it's genetically modified. And then the other 50% comes from upwards of 100 different cows. You have to ask yourself, what am I really eating anymore?
The biggest thing that's wrong with the food that they were eating before they come here is that it wasn't genuinely feeding them. Like, most people are overfed and undernourished, and so they're constantly hungry because their cells are genuinely starving. You don't often think of somebody being morbidly obese or obese and think that they are starving. But the irony is that's precisely what's happening.
If I carried on the way I was going, eating all the rubbish, and you don't realise how addictive all the white starchy, refined sugar stuff is. I mean, this week I've not been hungry. I've had the headaches, the withdrawal in the beginning, but I can honestly say I have not been hungry. Whereas if I was to go out to my favourite restaurant, Chinese all-you-can-eat buffet, by the time I'd get home, I'd be hungry because it's not feeding my body what it actually needs. It's feeding it for a little while, and then your body realises that it actually does need the vitamins and the nutrients and everything like that, and it's hungry for them things.
Convenience and a lot of this instant gratification lifestyle has become the norm. And so many companies have come in to try fill that instant gratification need.
There's a lot of money to do research to figure out what's going to trick your taste buds. And then there's a lot of money out there to figure out the best way to sell things. And so what happens is we basically become addicted to fake foods.
They're packaged up in all sorts of different forms and sold to us as being sometimes even healthy and nutritious, and they're anything but that.
So our tongue tastes and says, oh, it must be good for you because it tastes a certain way. Well, it's just shaped like something that's good for you, but it's not really good for you. It's actually really bad for you. And you know, food companies, they know this. It's a billion dollar industry. They know how to trick you.
Anything that usually says 100% fat-free is loaded with white refined sugar. If something says sugar-free, chances are it has artificial sweeteners in.
Where you want to know why overweight people are insatiably hungry, one of them is artificial sweeteners and artificial flavor enhancers. Like, for example, MSG. Now, MSG in and of itself doesn't really taste good, but what it does is it makes you become addicted to the food, and it makes you want to eat more and more of it. So that's great for food companies because you're gonna eat more, you're gonna want more, they're gonna sell more. It's perfect for them. It's horrible for you.
Everyone wants to talk about food today.
Cheeseburgers, French fries,
All-you-can-eat Chinese buffet, boiled ham,
ice cream,
Pasta,
bread and butter.
a big stack of ribs with barbecue sauce.
I just want a ham and cheese toasty. Chips, definitely love chips.
Apple Danish pastries.
Not with like normal cheese, with like soft cheese, macaroni salad,
Chocolate.
like ham and the bread.
Mashed potato.
Steak.
I don't even want to keep talking about this stuff because it's starting to make me think in my head, like, get back to those thoughts, and like those thoughts are actually starting to leave.
If I said to somebody, look, a banana, for example, is going to cause obesity, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, eczema, psoriasis, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and I said, look, all you need to do is stop eating bananas, the person would just stop eating bananas and they'd find it easy, even if they love them. But if you said to somebody, stop eating white refined sugar, refined fats, or chocolate, or alcohol, or things like coffee, there is an emotional attachment. And addiction to me is if the thought of never doing it again fills you with an abnormal fear, then you're hooked. If it doesn't, then you're not.
I usually have chocolate bars to cover up my problems and my insecurities, and having to deal with everything face on is really, really tough. I feel like this is something I have to do to be able to move on in my life, and I've been eating chocolate, crisps, cola, all that kind of stuff for the past 20 years. I think it's time for me to treat my body with the respect that I should have given it all those years ago.
The cost of our instant gratification life is that we're becoming more overweight, we're becoming more unwell, and we're suffering as a result of these diseases of lifestyle, the diseases of nutrition and the diseases of toxicity.
We're seeing new diseases now, like Lou Gehrig's disease, scleroderma, lupus. We're seeing an escalation of Alzheimer's disease. We're seeing an increase in cancer and diabetes. We're going to see continued escalation of obesity. And right now, we're at a crisis point. And if something doesn't change, all of these diseases are going to continue to escalate.
Who'd have thought, like, fruits and veg would make you feel so good, and so bad as well. I mean, well, it's not the fruit and veg that's making you feel bad. It's all like the toxins in your body that are just getting flushed out, and boy, they've been getting flushed out.
I just did the cross trainer for, I don't know, like 10 minutes, and I started having a small squeeze in my chest. It wasn't even like the really painful one where I can't even breathe anymore. It's just, I took like 5 puffs of the inhaler before being on the treadmill. I jogged for a total of 5 minutes, which, so stupid as it may seem, like has never happened. It's crazy that today's day 5 and that would be an effect.
When I arrived here, I realized that the few medications that I was going to bring with me were missing from my bag. I did get in touch with my doctor, and she was even a little nervous, but she said since I'm coming to a place like this, that I probably don't need to worry about it too much. So maybe this happened for a reason, because I have been trying to get off my meds. Yeah, I think this is perfect for me.
This is my CPAP machine, which is continual positive air pressure. I have to sleep with it. It's my significant other, and for the sake of her sanity, my wife sleeps elsewhere.
Right, this is my CPAP. Now what it does, it's like I'm taking a breath and it forces the air and the oxygen at the moment into me so I can't help but breathe it. I'm gonna hit the hay.
I've only been on juice for nearly 5 days now, and to be honest, I've really been struggling the last few days. My ulcerative colitis has been flaring up big time, and it's been causing me a lot of stomach pains, cramping, and diarrhea. I'm going to the bathroom, about 10 times a day, and it's just very painful.
It feels like this is getting worse before it gets better. I mean, for me, a sign that I'm getting better will be more normal bowel movements and less pain in my stomach. I've been untreated for this ulcerative colitis for over 6 years because the treatments that they offered me started making me go blind. I don't normally just cry or whatever, but it's just been very emotional. I don't want to go home, but I think if I was offered, do you want to go home? I would probably go home.
First of all, I thought, I wonder if you can get any juice from the apple. It's called apple juice. It's ridiculously stupid, right? But we're so far removed from doing it ourselves. We're so used to buying everything in the carton. We're so used to apple juice looking like you've had a pee that we don't understand. You've got your 2 apple juices there. I like to do a visual because you can see the difference. Now what's happened here is that this is still alive. See the rich creamy head? What do I think of Andy's suitcase full of drugs? That sentence alone says it all. He's got 2 suitcases in his room, one full of clothes, the other one full entirely of medical drugs.
There we have my tablets. I mean, I'm here for 4 weeks now, and I've had to bring a suitcase because of the amount I'm taking. And I'm hoping this journey is going to halve that or even get rid of most of it. And I can't wait for that. I also take steroids. Now, steroids come with a hunger factor. It's quite scary how fast your weight can increase when you start taking steroids. I've been taking them for 13 years and I would really not like to see my insides because the outside's bad enough. And if I can get rid of the steroids, again, it would be a dream, it really would.
The thing that inspired me more than anything else to do this big juice experiment was my own ill health. I mean, it's hard to imagine now, but I was covered from head to foot. I mean, literally covered from head to foot in an awful skin condition called psoriasis, autoimmune disease where the skin repairs itself roughly 4 times faster than it should and produces these scales on the outside of the body. I had severe eczema, I had severe hay fever, I mean, to the point where I couldn't leave my house. It wasn't just, small amounts of hay fever, itchy eyes. I mean, it was like the worst flu you've ever had. I mean, every single summer for long periods of time. The thing that affected my life a great deal was my severe asthma. I mean, I had really, really bad asthma. For my asthma, I was given the usual, the blue Ventolin inhaler, the brown one, which was the steroid-based one at the time, and I even got some steroid tablets. Not once did anybody even look at what could possibly be causing the problem. They just wanted to treat the symptoms.
With our chronic diseases, we manage them. We don't cure them, and we don't seem to want to cure them. All we do is manage. We lower cholesterol, we try to lower blood sugar, we relieve pain in arthritis, and we give certain medications for pulmonary disease, but basically there's no attention given to trying to cure these.
This is the injection I take. It's an immunosuppressant. Although it takes away the inflammation of my Crohn's, a side effect is that I'm open to every cold and virus and pretty much anything I come in contact with, which was why I was hospitalized 3 times this year. And I got a virus in my heart and my heart rate dropped quite low. So the doctors didn't really know what was happening. They thought maybe I was either really fit. They said Muhammad Ali has a resting heart rate of 32 beats per minute. I was like, I don't think that's me. I think there might be something wrong. So yeah, this is what at the moment I'm just injecting myself with every 2 weeks. I'd love to go back to only having to take it maybe once a month. You know, ideally nothing altogether. You know, it'd be great to be free of medication, but you know, I'm just expecting, I'd love to be able to just delay having to take it. So
medicine, we know, doesn't fix anything, it doesn't correct anything, and a medicine is a toxin. And it usually interferes with something naturally that's supposed to take place in your body.
Not one single person will be cured of heart disease, pulmonary disease, stroke, arthritis, obesity, and of course diabetes with our current medical approach. In spite of all the technology, all the medications, all the research and money we throw at these problems, we are not conquering chronic disease.
Well, I think the pharmaceutical industry it's like disempowering. They're giving people a very simple solution. Here's a pill, take the pill, that's it. Don't need to worry about anything else. Just the mere fact that they think that this is protecting them, stop them from looking at the things that might be causing them to be ill in the first place.
If you are worried about high cholesterol or heart disease, then ask your doctor about Lipitor. Lipitor is a prescription medicine that is proved to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke. Lipitor is not for everyone and should not be taken by people with liver problems. Your doctor can provide a simple blood test to check your liver.
If you're in the US and you put on the television, you'll see that there is a plethora of drug commercials on TV. These drug commercials are targeted at helping alleviate people's problems, and we have a lot of problems.
Some people can experience allergic reactions to Lipitor, some of which can be life-threatening. Tell your doctor straight away if you have an allergic reaction that causes swelling of the face, lips, tongue, or throat, or affects your breathing. The most common side effects include nausea, nosebleeds, headaches, memory loss, insomnia, nightmares, and an increased risk of diabetes.
You know, if you used anything else and tried to sell anything under the sun that has side effects of liver damage, of kidney damage, of new diseases, of even cancer and death, you wouldn't be able to sell that. But they advertise this stuff all along, and the public buys those things. All they're looking for is relief of their symptoms.
We want a quick fix for our modern problems, and the pharmaceutical industry has promised us those quick fixes, but they're not really communicating the costs of those quick fixes.
They're drugging them and drugging them and drugging them, and the drugs have side effects.
I have to put my reading glasses on because the writing is very small. Wow. This is incredible. Right out of the chute. Endometrial cancer, cardiovascular disorders, breast cancer, and probable dementia. Wow.
Memory loss. Again, I presented with it. That causes it. This causes it.
Worsening trouble breathing, coughing, and wheezing.
Dry mouth, nausea, stomach pain.
Lowered resistance to infections.
Confusion, shortness of breath.
I feel that side effects.
Feeling sick, weight gain, stomach ulcers.
Blindness.
Fever, headache.
Bronchitis, bruising, difficulty speaking.
Shock.
Increased pressure in the skull, causing painful eyes, changes in vision.
Shakiness, nervousness.
Rashes.
Loss of bladder control, hair loss, and unusual thoughts.
Symptoms of TB may happen.
Headaches.
Pneumonia.
Cataracts.
Retinal vascular thrombosis.
Irregular heartbeat.
Feeling depressed, including thinking about suicide.
Psychosis, anorexia, osteoporosis.
Ringing in the ears.
Exacerbation of other conditions.
Loss of consciousness.
Feeling dependent or addicted to this product.
Death. Death. If these occur, please inform your doctor. Right. So, if I die, I will tell my doctor. Death is a side effect. Ha ha.
Now, I want to make it fundamentally clear that I am not saying there isn't a place for medical intervention, because clearly there is. I am not anti-medicine. For example, if you're in a car crash and your leg is broken, then clearly a few dream catchers, an aura cleanse, or even juice poured all over your leg are not the first things you're going to need. What you're probably going to need is to go to hospital, get some proper medical attention. And then after that, you might want some juice or other therapies to support the healing process. But the point is that you need to achieve the right balance.
If I have a chronic disease of lifestyle caused by how I eat, how I live, how I react to stress and the toxins in my environment, I need to do something about it that's different than going to the mainstream medical profession. I need to address those causes. And the best way to address those causes is through diet and lifestyle.
For the long-term management of illness, you want to try to wean people off their medicines and start fixing the patient.
I think the turning point for me that made me move away from the medical profession and their drugs was I'd been offered treatment after treatment after treatment. Nothing was getting better at all. And I think the real crunch for me came when the doctor suggested, dermatologist said, for your psoriasis, he said, what I'd like to do is put some coal tar treatment on you. And I said, coal tar, that sounds like the stuff you make a road with, like that hot coal tar. He said, that is what it is. I said, you want to put that on my skin? They said, yeah, we're going to put it on your skin, put you in hospital for 6 weeks and cover you in bandages. It was at that point I thought, you know, there's got to be another way.
Up until now, I've never ever read the sheets. They're there for communications and people can read about things. But they're horror sheets. Now reading them, and reading them possible side effects, as in, can happen on an everyday basis. That's outrageous. No, I'm seriously considering what I take as tablets now.
Yesterday my stomach was acting up just a little bit, but today I feel right on form. I really do.
I love being out here in the lake. It's so beautiful and peaceful. Hardly anybody takes advantage of it. And when you're hurting, I think it's the best thing that you could possibly do for yourself. It's nice to get some alone time.
Cheers.
I have degenerative disc, so my lower back has always bothered me. But I just recently had a spinal fusion in my neck. That was actually an emotional one for me. I was able to do things that I actually thought I'd never be able to do with the spinal surgery and the shoulder surgery. So it was awesome. Yeah, it's good to feel I'm clearly healing. I can't wait to do it again. I'll probably cry again too.
I still am fighting a roller coaster battle. I feel like I should be further along than I am. So it's just been really tough for me.
Okay, so John's colitis is not clearing up as rapidly as I first anticipated. So as part of the big juice experiment, I'm just going to add in an extra juice to see if it makes any difference. And it's based on a study that I've seen about cabbage juice of all things and ulcerative colitis. Now, John remains very skeptical about whether this is going to work. He also doesn't want to drink it because cabbage juice is not the nicest tasting juice in the world, but we are going to mix it with a little bit of apple. I am blindly optimistic, and again, it can't do any harm, but it'd be interesting to see if this works.
It looks like a beer that has too much foam on the top. It's like not even going away. I guess there's nothing to do except for try it, right? Wait, I think I might have to actually do this with a straw because there's so much foam in here. Can I take this foam out or no? It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's really not as bad as I thought it was going to be. There you go. Oh, that's what I did.
The thing is, I like red cabbage in salads, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's wonderful. Terrific even.
Well, that was a surprise. This journey is all about surprises, and another one is I never thought I'd ever drink a cabbage.
The mechanism behind all of our chronic diseases is inflammation. Inflammation is the response to injury. Toxins do cause injury, injury causes inflammation. If we take a look at what we've done differently, it turns out to be the things we eat. We've gotten away from real food. Everything is processed. I mean, we don't eat an apple anymore, we eat applesauce. And it's loaded up with sugars and preservatives and other sorts of things that are potentially toxic. And in my opinion, that dietary change is the cause of most of these chronic diseases.
As we're consuming these modern foods, we're accumulating toxins within the body. As we accumulate toxins within the body, we're becoming prone to illness. And that illness depends on our genetic predisposition. It depends on our genetic heritage. It depends on where our genetic weakness is in the body.
Many diseases are just manifestations from the same things, and the solution always is about improving the nutrient quality of your food, detoxifying, and addressing stress and emotional issues.
It just stands to reason and common sense that if the vast majority of those diseases are caused by diet and lifestyle, then the simple answer surely is to change the diet and lifestyle, and then they'll just get better.
Since I've been out here, I haven't had any symptoms, which is incredible. I'm just kind of blown away by that. I actually arrived with medication the doctor gave me just in case my symptoms flare up. I used to be on it once a month, and because my dependency has increased so much on it, the few days leading up to the injection I'd get quite ill, very sick and stuff, so I'd know that it's time to take the injection again. Yeah, but since I've come out here I haven't needed the injection, so I'm about, tomorrow it will be a week over when I was due it and still no symptoms, so yeah, it's going well.
There's only one place, logically, that any of us should be looking for our long-term health. It's the same place that wild animals look for their long-term health and their nutrition. It's nature. We are the only creatures in the world that cook our food. You don't see a gorilla with a barbecue. There's a strange visual there.
If you were on an island, you would find fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and animal protein. And our bodies understand that. You can eat all of those that you want and you will be enormously healthy. Once you start mixing the other things in, it causes such hormonal and chemical chaos in your body that your body just doesn't know what to do with it.
If we got back to eating real food, real things that were made or grown on the land instead of produced in a factory, we would have a better chance to avoid these toxins and a better chance to avoid the consequences of inflammation.
We should be juicing because so many people have impaired digestive tracts, and digestion is impaired because of the diet we've been on. Along come your beautiful juices. They go right into your intestinal tract, and those nutrients get absorbed into your system. They're going right to work within about 20 or 30 minutes. They're there feeding your body, rejuvenating, giving you energy, giving your body life. This is why you should juice.
I think juicing is the perfect antithesis to the failures of the modern diet and the modern food system. I think it is the exact opposite of a Happy Meal. It is the exact opposite of some Twinkie bar or some fast food junk that we're eating.
We've heard you are what you eat, right? And it's so true.